So that's a hidden message right there. Notice the antenna. Telecom Group. Embark, bark of a tree. Telecom Group Incorporated. Logistics. Log. Okay, so it's red, white, blue. It's got the black behind that. Black and white writing. Yellow. That's encoded. So what it looks like to me, the tree is a serious object lesson, and the trees might even be talking to each other. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but they're stable, right? The whole purpose of being down here is God is trying to make you stable and secure and as solid and faithful as a tree. The tree is an object lesson of faith, stable faith. The tree doesn't move, but it produces fruit. The tree doesn't move, but it grows. The tree bark, it grows outward, right? It doesn't have to move, but it just grows. And so really what's happening spiritually is you're not moving, but you're growing spiritually. Almost everything that I think about now happens within a few minutes. Today I was thinking about something, and I said, this needs to be moved. Or I was thinking about it, and then somebody says, can you move that? Just a few minutes later. So, you're emerging. The letter E is spirit. You're emerging. Emerge. You're merging with the spirit. You're embarking on a journey. The logistics goes back to the log. The log is the logo. So they would throw a log behind a ship to measure their speed, right? Throw a log to measure the speed. How many knots? And they call it knots because the knot on a tree. The knot's on a tree. So everything is telling you something spiritually from the object. The objects are object lessons. Everything that you look at, you might say that's impossible. But the reason that it's not impossible is because everything is from the Logos, and everything is to the Logos, and everything is through the Logos, and everything points back to the Logos. So everything that is involved on this truck right here, or that tree, anything man makes, anything that's natural made, anything that an AI robot would make, deep down it points back to Jesus. There's no way to escape it, because in Him we live and breathe and have our being. So everything that we do, you have a head and a body, right? So if they build a robot, it has a head and a body. It points back to Christ and His church, Christ and His body. And so spiders, snakes, dogs, cats have a head and a body. Spiders kind of different, but that's why it's kind of connected to the body, but it's got legs and arms and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying. But that's why a spider is yuck. That's why a spider is yucky to you. It's just not human looking. It's got two eyes and a body and a head together, and just this looks not normal. Because you're used to a head and a body. There's a head in a church. There's a head in a corporation. There's a head in a business. There's a head in a home. There's a head on your body. There's a head when you're driving the car. There's the head and there's the rider. There's the head on a ship, the captain of a ship, cap. He wears a cap on his head because he's the captain. There's a head and a body. And so every object is an object lesson, and every object that has many pieces, like that car has multiple pieces, multiple parts to make the whole. And so every system or every compilation or every invention points back to Jesus, because all the parts make the whole, and that's how the head, the body. Let me I forgot, I want to talk about this for a second. Something just hit me. This is important. Somebody needs to hear this, I guess. How do I say this? This is really important. So I'm realizing that everybody's in a fake reality down here in the natural. And maybe this needs to be another video. Maybe I'll do this intro to it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Everything that you look at is from him, through him, and to him. So it all has to point back to him. So the 2x4s in these buildings or these houses, or the joist, the floor joist, everything goes back to joining back with Christ, with God through Christ. So even a joist, J-O-I, is part of join. S-T is snake on the cross. So everything, the joist attached to the walls, it's a building fitly framed together. So the object lessons have to point back to Jesus and his body every time. Anyway, back to what I was going to say. This is going to just be an intro. Everybody's lived in a fake reality, because the real reality is we're in Christ, and he gives us everything we need. That's why he put us here. And so all this worry and fear and doubt and all this stuff, it's all ridiculous. You're in Christ. And so when you really step into it, if a person could, I'm not saying I'm there yet, you could raise people from the dead. You could heal people, touch your clothing and get healed, because you step into reality. But right now, everybody's got their bloodline or their culture programming. They're programmed by the media, by the system. They're programmed by fear, doubt, worry, and all that stuff. Everything in front of you is a programming to get you away from the real reality that in Christ, all things are possible. In Christ, everything is sustained. And so, whether it's your breath, whether it's your health, whether it's your pocketbook, whether it's your wallet, whether it's your learning a trade, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is, can be healed and renewed, just like Lazarus came from the dead. All this stuff is a miracle. Like I said, when you tie all of this together, everything's a miracle. Even taking a breath is a miracle. The fact that you're walking around in a clay body with a water vessel, you're walking around, you're a water vessel walking around in the ether of the Word, the Spirit of the Word. The words I speak are spirit and life. So you're walking around, it's like think of it like this. Think of one of those guys that was out researching the ocean. He went into the ocean, and he went down, and there was another ocean that had a different density. So he was floating in this ocean. He went down into this ocean. Or he hit it and got set on it, but it was water. But it had a different density. So imagine all this in front of you is part of the Spirit. But if it's a different density, it's a different density of the Spirit. And so at different levels of the Spirit, it's still the Spirit. So everything in front of you is Spirit, but you see it as a natural. But it's a spiritual object. And it's a spiritual object lesson. And so everything that's Spirit can be changed instantly. So miracles can happen instantly. So back to what I was saying. So I'm realizing that we've all believed lies from our culture, from our bloodline, from our own belief systems, from so you have a worldview. Everybody has a worldview. But does the worldview involve the view that God can do anything? And that not only does God do anything, but he's sustaining everything. And so even right now, he's got it all figured out before you even step into whatever it is. There's a solution before the problem appears. But when a problem appears, what happens? We go into our way of figuring it out. But there is a solution. The only reason probably that the problem appeared is to get you to trust God and go to God and say, Lord, I can't figure this one out. Can you help me? And get dependent on God, because it's obvious that this whole thing, he could snap his finger and this whole thing would evaporate or whatever. He's not going to go against his purpose for all this, because he's trying to win souls, and he's a creator, not a destructor. But sometimes he has to renovate, and he will. There was the first earth, and that was renovated by water, and the second earth renovated by fires, and then there's going to be a third heaven, a third earth, a new heaven, a new earth. My point is, if you really get a hold of what I'm saying, if you step out of your fake reality into God's reality, that he takes care and provides everything you need. That's why he created this place. And if that's his intention, why would we reject his intention? Why not just enter into that intention? If God created this earth for you to grow, get saved, grow spiritually, help others, serve, help others, prosper, cornucopia, abundance. If God created this place to build up his church and bring other people in, why would we not think that he's going to build you up? So the only thing that hinders us from entering into that cornucopia abundance is us. Our worldview is not a worldview of supernatural, but it's a worldview of natural. And we're all stuck in the sine wave at times. Instead of getting up here we're stuck in the bottom part of the sine wave instead of the top part. Because he came down, he rose again. So yeah, a problem's going to hit you to knock you down, but there's going to be a rising up. But if you stay down here and you're just treading water, that's not the cornucopia. Rising up above and walking on the water of the problem, walking above the problem, that's cornucopia. I'm not saying everybody's going to be a millionaire or everybody's going to have perfect health all the time. I'm not saying this name it, claim it, but I'm saying if you change your thinking, if you change your stinking thinking, stuff happens automatically. Because you changed your worldview to line up with God's worldview, and things just shift. Your whole world shifts. And so if you can get in enough state, a state of mind enough where you can cut off your grandparents, your parents, your neighbors, your brother, your sister, your spouse, the in-laws, if you can cut off their worldview, or some churches are stuck in the legalism, if you cut off their world and you step into God's total worldview and not mankind, not man-made worldview, you step into another worldview, you step into another paradigm. Do you hear what I'm saying? I mean, this is an intro to what I'm not even touching on it like I want to. This is just an intro. God is such an abundant God. If you can learn to manage what he gives you, it's going to increase exponentially. They put air in that tire over there. How long is that going to last? Not long. I could go tell them, I got a piece you can push in there, pull it out, fix the tire. It won't ever. But Oh, see, the solution, their solution's right across the street. All they have to do is ask me, can you help me fix this tire? And so it don't go, yeah, I can fix it in about 2 seconds. There's solutions right here. But because I don't know if they hate white people or hate what, I don't know why they hate somebody who's always been nice to them and tried to help. But anyway, they hate their neighbor. But their solution to that flat tire is right across the street. All they have to do is ask, and I would fix it for them. But they won't. Because their worldview is blocking that cornucopia that they don't have to worry about that tire again. It's a worldview. It's fake reality. The fake reality that they believe is blocking their blessings, my point.